Hey everybody, today we're going to be doing some toilet repair. This toilet here is a Gerber Viper. It's 3 years old and it does have already a Fluid Master style water valve in it, but something's going on with it. When the float floats all the way up, it doesn't shut the water off and it just keeps running. Let me take the tank off and let me come back and I'll see if I can get it to act up to show you what it's doing. You can replace just the seal in these, but I think there might be something wrong with the float. So we're going to change the whole thing before I stop. So you're going to need a pair of tongue and groove pliers, an adjustable wrench, and another pair of tongue and groove pliers. Let me get the toilet top off and set someplace so it's out of the way and we won't break it. Okay, got the tank off, and let's show you what's inside the toilet. So inside the toilet, you have the Fluid Master flush valve, you have the overflow tube, and the blue thing down there is the flapper. So when you flush the toilet, you lift up on the flapper, and the flapper lets water into the bowl to flush the waste away. So now this arm has gone down, and the float will start floating up on the water. And when it gets to the very top, see how it just moved there? When it gets up to the very top, it's supposed to shut the water off. And as you see, now the water is running down the overflow, which is not what it's supposed to be doing. So if you come over here and you pull up real hard on the valve, it shuts off. So you can pop these tops off with the water cut off and replace the seal in here. I don't have any seals. I have a new Fluid Master. I think there might be something wrong with the float because the float, it doesn't seem to be floating properly. So next step is you want to get a bunch of towels and put them around the toilet. So we're going to go ahead and cut the water off. All right, and then we're going to flush the toilet and hold it up to try to get as much water out of the bowl as possible. As you can see, there's still a good 3/4 of an inch water in there. So what you want to do is you want to hold this up and reach in there with your other hand. And of course, this is clean water. It's not a big deal, it's clean water. Just try to brush as much of the water out that you can, which I'm not doing a very good job. All right, so then we're going to go ahead and this tube here puts water down the overflow valve to refill the bowl. So we're going to disconnect that. That's out of the way. So I got towels down on the floor and towels down the floor. I have a little tiny trash can that I hope I can get underneath here to catch the water, which it looks like I do. So, and another very important tool that you're going to need is you're going to need a kneeling pad. So right here is the water inlet. We have the water shut off. This is just a hand connection. You should be able to spin this off with your hand. Be sure you have your towels underneath. All right. Now, up underneath, there is another nut that you're going to need to use your pliers on. So before we get the nut loose, we're going to go ahead and put our trash can or bucket or whatever you can get underneath here to catch the water. Let me see if I can get you positioned on the other side so you can see what I'm doing. Yep, the nut's right there. So let me just see if I can get in here with my hand first. And nope, it's too tight. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing from there. Let me bring you over here. There's the nut. Gonna come in with my tongue and groove pliers. Gonna get on there, and I'm gonna loosen the nut. And then once you get the nut loose, it usually just spins right off. We have the nut off. Now, as soon as I break the seal here, we're gonna get a bunch of water coming out. It's gonna go right into the little trash can. So out comes the valve. And we'll go ahead and set that in the sink right now. So there is the inside. It sits right in that hole. So now we have to set up the new valve. So let me get the new valve out of the box. And I think I'll go outside and I'll show you how to set up the new valve. All right, we're outside. I got the new Fluid Master. By the way, the Fluid Master part number is a 400 Apple, 400A. And in here it has instructions and it has all the pieces you need. So here is the new Fluid Master. Here is the old Fluid Master. It does have very good instructions on how to do everything. So, but this is how I do it. Is these are adjustable. You push back on this ring, and then you can unscrew this. Then you can screw this in or screw this out. Actually, you pull on it. Why isn't this one coming out? There we go. You pull on it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this at the same level as this. So basically, we have two out. So let's see. Get this down. So if you notice how far from here to here and here to here should be about the same. That looks pretty close, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
All right, then what you do is you take your little ring here and then you push it back down on here, and that locks this piece. All right, so now that we have that adjusted, now the next adjustment is how high the float. So this float comes up that high and shuts the water off. All right, this one here you can see is a lot higher. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this thumb screw, and I'm just going to try to adjust it to the same way the old one was. All right, we're level here, and we look like we have the float in about the same spot. Maybe go up just a hair. Maybe I got a little too far.
That looks good.
That looks good there.
It's like 3 threads.
Yeah. And also in the box, whoops, it comes with a new bowl filling tube, because this tube here has gotten very hard. It's probably the same length. So then this just gets pushed on here. All right, so now we are ready to go install the new valve. It comes with a new nut that screws here. And then this here is on some toilets where this overflow valve was in, it was in a hole. Some of them don't. This actually clips onto the overflow tube, and the tube will fit on here. All right, so now we have this all adjusted. We might have to do some fine adjustment when we get in, after we get it back together. So let me go back in and start reinstalling it. All right, we're back inside with the new Fluid Master. And the new Fluid Master is just going to fit back down in the hole. And it was sitting at about an angle like this. So it has a new nut. You do not want to over tighten the nut. So let me get the there we go. All right. We look like we're in a good position. And now I'm just going to snug the nut up by hand. You don't need to use a pair of pliers to get the nut that tight. So you want to snug the nut up like I just did. Reconnect the water line. And snug it up. Okay, that's tight. Now there is a rubber O-ring in here that you can replace that I guess the new Fluid Masters do not come with. They used to come with them. All right. So now you put your overflow tube, your water supply that goes into the overflow tube to fill up the bowl back in, like that. Let's move the trash can out of the way, and let's go ahead and turn the water back on. Water's on and filling up. I've got my hand down here looking for leaks. I don't feel any leaks. When I'm done, I'll go back underneath and look. And right here, I don't know if you can read it, it says tank water plus or minus, because this has a very short overflow tube, so we might have to adjust it so the water doesn't run down. Oh yeah, there must be something wrong with that other one. See how good this one's floating? The other one was almost underwater, but we need more water, so we want more water, so we turn this way. Basically, I want it to be just below the overflow tube. I think that looks pretty good. And if you notice on this float, see how much higher this float is floating than the other one? There must have been something wrong with that float. That's why I didn't want to replace just the O-ring in here. That's the part of the valve. There you go. We have this toilet repaired. I think we're good to go on this one. Yeah, there was something wrong with that other float. It was just, if you notice in the original video, this float was underwater. There's obviously something wrong. They've done a lot of water main repairs and replacements in my neighborhood, so I wouldn't be surprised if a rock or something isn't stuck up in there. All right, so you're done. You've got a little bit of water that you caught that you want to get rid of. And you didn't make too much of a mess because you have towels every place. And we're done. The last thing you want to do is you just want to come underneath here and make sure that you don't have any drips and everything seems tight. And maybe in a couple days come back and recheck that to make sure that you have no leaks. All right, everybody, there you go. That is how you put a Fluid Master in a toilet, which is basically the water valve that lets the water valve into the toilet. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please subscribe. You can always do that in that corner. Please give me a thumbs up if you like the videos. Please like and share.